A crankshaft is a critical component in your engine. Today we're going to go over how a crankshaft works, signs of failure, and why you may need a crankshaft from Highway and Heavy Parts. This is a crankshaft from an ISX Cummins. Let's go over a little bit about how the crankshaft functions. Basically, with a crankshaft, you're taking your reciprocating energy from your piston and your connecting rod that's attached to one of these journals, and you're turning it into rotational forces that drives your truck. The crankshaft is comprised of a few different things. Starting off at the front of the crankshaft, there's an adapter here that will have your harmonic balancer or dampener attached to it. The next piece in is going to be a tone wheel. A tone wheel is used for picking up timing, so the fuel system can operate such things as injectors at the right time. You're going to have drive gear that's going to drive your front gear train, drive your camshafts, water pumps, so on. Then you're going to have 7 main journals, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then you're going to have throws within the crank that are going to drive your connecting rods. You're going to have 6 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 connecting rod throws. So that's the basics of a crankshaft. Just turning reciprocating energy into rotational energy to drive your truck. All right, so to further explain the reciprocating motion versus the rotational motion, we've got the cutaway engine here. As you can see, you've got a piston here connected to a connecting rod. You've got a piston crown connected to a connecting rod. These two pieces here travel up and down. So as they travel up and down, these connecting rods are connected to the crankshaft, which is going to rotate the crankshaft in a circular motion, driving the flywheel off the back of the engine. So as the pistons go up and down, it rotates the crankshaft round and round. And that's the difference between reciprocating and rotational forces. So what are some of the signs that you may have a failed crankshaft? Crankshaft failure occurs a couple different ways. Number one, you may have a lack of lubrication in your oiling system, and when the lubrication fails or breaks down or gets blocked off, the bearings will suffer. The bearings need a coat of oil, a film between the crank and the bearing to keep everything running smoothly. And when that oil film goes away or gets reduced, it creates a bunch of heat in the bearing and in the journal. When it creates that heat, the two pieces want to stick together as they rotate, tearing the tangs off the bearings, spinning the bearings, blocking off the oil holes, and subsequently really destroying the surfaces of the crankshaft that the bearing runs on. That may be one sign that you need a new crankshaft. Another sign, excessive vibration. You could have anything from a failed dampener on the front end of the crankshaft to a broken crankshaft. If you get into a situation where you've got a really excessive vibration, you really need to check it out. Crankshafts can break, usually breaking at one of the journals, but that's going to be a definite need to replace a crankshaft on that. We've got crankshafts available at Highway and Heavy Parts, both brand new, remanufactured. They're going to be 30 to 50% off retail pricing, so you're going to save quite a bit of money with one of our crankshafts, built to meet or exceed OEM specifications in all instances. So we should certainly be able to help you out with a reman or a new crankshaft for your engine. So if you're on the bottom side of your engine, maybe overhauling your engine or just doing a bearing change, and you find that you've got odd wear patterns in your bearings, possibly excessive wear on the upper of one, excessive wear on the lower of the other, you want to be suspicious of possibly having a bent crankshaft. Odd bearing wear is a huge indication that something might be going on with the crank or the block. And that's definitely a reason that you would want to check out and dig deeper into possibly replacing your crankshaft. You might have noticed more vibration than normal as well. If you've got something like that going on, be suspicious of the crankshaft. So if you've got spun bearings, bent crankshaft, broken crankshaft, we've got a crank for you. Highway and Heavy Parts, 30 to 50% off retail pricing. We got both new, brand new, and remanufactured crankshafts available for all the brands, Cat, Cummins, Detroit, Diesel, Navistar. We've got a crank for you. Give us a shout at 844-447-1453, or check us out on the web at www.highwayandheavyparts.com, where you can go to our online quoting tool, submit a quote. We'd be glad to get back with you, and we'll help you out with the crankshaft. From diagnosis through delivery, we're Highway and Heavy Parts.